FLAMU's application is out. FLAMU's graduate training is actually out. What do you think made you stand out in your CV?
One thing I did was to go on Google Chrome. I use Chrome, and the major documents I needed as the application material was just my CV.
Do you remember like the number of graduate training roles you applied for?
I think I would advise people that are just finishing NYC to do, even before you finish your NYC, once you are nearing the end, start applying. Please apply. So I applied for a lot in agricultural sector because I studied agricultural engineering. So that it's a graduate training role. Okay, one thing about graduate training is what they just need is to know that okay, you have the ability to learn, which is what you go to school to do. You know.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone watching this and everyone who would eventually watch this. Welcome to the graduate trainee series, right, where we'll be interviewing people who have gotten into different firms in the country through the graduate trainee route. And we'll be starting, this will be the first episode, right? And I'll be speaking with Emmanuel. And this is the first episode because currently, as at when we post this, FLAMU's application is out. FLAMU's graduate training is actually out. And I'm speaking with Emmanuel that works at FLAMU's. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Can we meet you?
All right. Good. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you all. My name is Emmanuel Dada, and I work with Flour Mills of Nigeria. I work in one of the subsidiary, which is Golden Sugar Refinery here in Apapa, Lagos State, Nigeria. All right. So that's all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. So just to cut to the chase, right? We'll be discussing the application process, right? Which is from before you saw the offer till you got the final offer. And what we'll be starting with is the general questions, right? And I want to ask two questions in one. The first one will be, how did you even get to know about the FLAMU's graduate training vacancy? First of all, that's the first question. And the second thing will be about your CV, right? What do you think made you stand out in your CV?
Thank you very much. All right, so this will date back to December 2023, if I'm not wrong. So I just finished NYC, of course, as every Nigerian that went for service here. Finished my NYC, stayed back in the state I served, and since then I've been hunting for graduate training roles. So one thing I did was to go on Google Chrome. I use Chrome and search with graduate training roles, and automatically brought out every organization that actually offer graduate training role for people. So I started applying, got my document. The major documents I needed as the application material was just my CV, so to say. So for most of them, they asked for my CV. But when I got the notification from Flour Mills of Nigeria graduate training application, it just had a few details: my name, the school I finished for, the course, which area I would love to work in, and all that basic questions using a Google form. It's like I'm filling a form. So
Okay.
that was how I got to know about the application. I saw the application online due to the fact that I've been searching for graduate training roles. So I think there's this AI thing that Google use to track what your relevant search and bring you something that they are related to it. So I think that was what brought FMN graduate training application to me. Alright, so after the application, I submitted my application. Initially, they didn't ask for my CV. After submitting the application, then we now move on to the test stage. I registered, so submission of the form equates to registration, so to say, and submitted the form online. Then after a while, I got a mail that I should come for the first test. Note, it was an online test, okay? I did the first test, second test, and the third test. I did 3 tests actually. And the questions they asked were the normal questions of, okay, English, language, mathematics, though there are some area of emphasis when it comes to the mathematics part and other one. And then they asked behavioral questions as well.
This is for the first test, right?
No. The first test was just basically English, math, and current affairs, so to say, like general knowledge. Yeah, that was for the first test. that I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Before you move over to the second and maybe the third or the first, you're saying that first follow-up question. Do you remember like the number of graduate training roles you applied for?
There are quite much. Oh. There are quite much. Well, one thing I would advise people that are just finishing NYC to do, even before you finish your NYC, once you are
Exactly.
nearing the end, start applying. Once you calculate it, okay, by the time I apply for this, if at all they'll be asking us to submit our documents, so to say, I will be done with my NYC then please and please start putting in your
By all
application.
means,
Because most
yes.
organization, their recruitment process takes about, I think the least of it is 3 months if they want to, no matter how fast they want to be fast about it. It's just about 3 months because they want to do some screening here and there and all. So in as much you can base your calculation, okay, I will be done before they ask for my documentations and all. Please apply. So I applied for a lot in agricultural sector because I studied agricultural engineering. So I applied for a lot in the agricultural sector that has to do with machine engineering. I even applied for oil and gas to say you are. So as I was seeing the application, I was just applying. So don't say that, oh, it's a graduate training role. Okay, one thing about graduate training is what they just need is to know that, okay, you have the ability to learn, which is what you go to school to do. There's a saying that you go to school to learn, that kind of a thing. So once you have that ability, just apply. It does not really matter if it's in your field or not. Just keep applying and just apply. Yeah, apply as much as possible. I applied for banks as well. I even got an offer from UBA, but I had to let it go one way or the other. So because I really want to do a banking, I didn't want to work in the banking sector, so to say. So I
Okay.
applied for a lot of graduate training roles. So yeah, applied for a
Okay.
lot.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. I usually say it when it comes to um graduate trainings, it can be a game of numbers. Just as much as you fulfill the requirements, just apply. If you're yet to finish service and you know that the timing is favorable for you, apply. Just keep applying. Right. So we know that you really hunted down a lot of graduate trainees and then you later submitted your CV and after the first level of just filling details in Google form. Now, do you just in like one or two words, do you remember the wait time between when you first applied and when Flamius got back to you?
Okay.
The first
So
time.
yeah, when I submitted my application, I think I did that in January 2024. And
Okay.
I got the first mail around March 2024. So that was about 1 month and 2 or 3 weeks. So that's give or take 7 to 8 weeks thereabouts.
The
Yes,
first mail
from the point of submitting my application to the point of them inviting me for the first test.
for the
It
first
was about
assessment.
Yes, it was for about 7 to 8 weeks. That's about 1 month, and because the whole of February is 4 weeks on its own, then two
Wow.
weeks, yeah,
Well,
so
another
six to
thing to
four weeks.
say, because we have a WhatsApp community, whenever they apply and they don't get back to them in like 1 or 2 weeks, they start tagging me on the group saying they've not got back. And I'm like, you need a whole lot of patience when you're dealing with graduate training. I well aware that, they are so they are anticipating, they are in a lot and all of that. I just try to tell them that, see, you're going to need a lot of those of patience. There was even one that happened last week. The guy tagged me in the afternoon. I couldn't reply. Then by the time I was going to reply him in the evening, they had already sent him the email. I was like, did you see now? I don't work with them. But you just need patience. I know a lot that take about 6 months, not between when you start and when you're done. So it's really a lot of patience. So let's go straight to the series of exams you wrote. I think in our conversations before coming here, I know you did three exams. Do you want to break what each of those three exams, what each of them entail, one, and then how one led to each other, how one led to each other? Just the exams now.
All right. So for the exams during my own time, because this is my own experience, so it might be different from the way they want to do it now, but based on what I experienced during my own time, it was three exams, like assessment test, like I said. Now, the assessment test is not contracted to any examination body like SHL, what's this name? The one that is very, very
Dragnet,
common.
GMAT,
Dragnet. Yeah, thank you very
yeah.
much. Thank you very much. It's not so the assessment test was handled by the talent acquisition team of FMA by themselves. So they will be the one to sort the questions by themselves and arrange the questions and prepare the questions for their applicants. All right. So they are not using any of the examination setting bodies like SHA, Dragnet, and all those bodies like that. So for the first test, it was quite basic. English, use of English generally, and then mathematics, which focuses more on probability, statistics questions, fraction, in this, fraction, and one other, I can't really remember now, but those are the three major ones that I came across. All right. And then so for the first question, that was just it: English, mathematics, and then general knowledge. Yeah, the general knowledge was ranged from science, geography, and all the subjects combined together. So that was for the first test. So after doing the first test, I did that first test in, I think, mid-March 2024. And then by 2 weeks later, I got another mail for the second assessment test. So the second assessment test still comprised of English, a bit of mathematics as well, and then some behavioral questions. Then some the type of question whereby you read a paragraph and then they ask you to what does this line in the paragraph, what is it insinuating, that kind of a question, those kind of questions. I can't remember the name they exactly call them now. So those were also included in the second test. So after doing that, I did that in second week in April 2024. Then the third test came in the third week in April. I think it was a 2 week or 1 week interval between the second and the third test that I did. And that third test, based on logical reasoning, situational questions, and behavioral questions mostly for the third questions, then current affairs. And when I saw the current affairs, I was just like, God, what is this? Because it was, when we did current affairs in primary school, I think after primary school, I don't think any other stage of learning captures current affairs in their curriculum again after primary school. And I don't think even many primary schools are still doing current affairs now. It is well with all of us. But that was what I met there. But fortunately for me, I was able to answer the current affairs I was asked. I think one of the questions I remember was this knock art, where it began, in what year was it discovered, and all. I'm like, okay, I think that should be in Benin or something like that. Yeah, I can't really remember now, but those are some of the questions I saw in my third test. So the time frame for all the tests, both first, second, and third, let's say it lasts for about a month thereabouts. So I did the
Okay.
first test in March. 2 weeks after that, I got the invitation for the second test. And then a week after the second test, I got the invitation for the third test. So
Okay.
if you are in a hurry, you might have to calm down, be patient,
Mm,
because when I got in, we were made to know that about 24,000 of us did that application, put in that application. So it takes a
interest.
lot on them
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
pick out the ones they need, and also you just have to be patient, and when they get to you is when they get to you. So that's just it.
Okay. Thank you very much. So you're doing your news. Just go and start preparing, right? I know the application is still on. I'm not sure, but I think it's still on.
Yeah, it's
So
still on. It's still on.
as much as you've, at least that's where we are speaking now. So as much as you've applied, you just know that there are quite a number of tests. There are quite a number of tests in front of you, right? So just go and start preparing. I mean, that's what I'd say to you. So now you've done the first test, the second test, and the third test. Now, I believe the next level would be the interview.
Yeah.
Please, can you, so this is I want you to discuss about the interview. Now, how the structure of the interviews went, if it's one or if it is two, you want to tell us how it went, the one you first did or the second one and all of that, the structure. Maybe the kind of people who interviewed you in both interviews, or even if it is one interview,
Okay.
and the questions that cracked your head that you can still remember. I
All
think I
right.
think Yeah, for every I interview, for those I've spoken to, right? And there's one question that the person remembers and is like, oh boy, that's a way I didn't expect. So, and any question like that. So the first thing is the structure of the interview, maybe the first one, the second one, or even if it's one, then which would be that after the third test, they called you for an interview, right? So I don't know if it's one or
Okay.
two, then the second one would be the structure, right? Kind of people that were there, and the third one would be the something you can remember. So maybe when the people who are watching hear it, they can try to prepare along. Although, just to put it, when you're doing interviews, sometimes you never know where the questions will come from. But again, this is just all about your preparation, and it's going to still put you in a good place. So, Emmanuel, you have the mic.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. So let me start firstly with how the interview went. So we had two levels of interview during my time. Two levels of the first level and the second level. So the first level of the interview was basically with HR personnel, like the panel that conducted the first level of interview were basically HR, and the mode of questions asked in that one was sorry, okay. The mode of question asked for that first one was basically behavioral questions, how people relate to situations, how you handle situations, maybe working under pressure and all. And then the second type of question asked during that in that first interview was all the normal basic questions of okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Who are you? What signifies you or distinguish you among many people? Okay, why should so that the questions asked on that in that first interview with the HR people was basically the normal questions, behavioral questions. How will you handle a particular situation if at all you find yourself under it or in it rather? Then how do you respond to working under pressure or working in a fast-paced environment? All those kind of basic questions. Then questions like where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What are your goals? What is your drive? What drives you? Um, who are you? Can you what distinguish you among many people? And just to get to know the type of person that you are. I think that's the main focus of the first level of the interview, right? Done with the HR personnel. Then the second level of the interview was basically with top managers of the organization. All right. So the first level of interview I think was not structured to what you study in school, so to say. But the second level of the interview, I think, was structured to what you study in school. I did agricultural engineering, so most of the questions asked me by the panel in the second interview were mostly related to engineering. So for someone that did maybe business admin for that second level of interview, his questions will also be structured towards that area because FMN is a very large organization whereby we have so it's a multi discipline organization. We have people that did geography, we have people that did sciences, we have people that did engineering, we have people that did accounting all together in the place. So
Yeah,
whatever you
definitely.
study, in as much you get to the second level of the interview, if they are still going to use that format, in as much you get to the second level of the interview, your interview panel and question will be structured along way or along with what you study so that you they don't ask you a question and you're like, this is not my field or this is not related to me. How am I supposed to know it? So your question will be related to your field for the second interview. So then back to the second questions you asked, which I will want to answer now. Well, like, what questions shoot me? Well, if I remember quite well, during my second level, the first level of interview wasn't really a big deal. It was more, sure, let's say, easy peasy kind of a thing. But that second level of interview, sitting with top managers, which who both have both the theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge with nothing less than 10 years experience in the business. So there is no casually you want to do. There's no like Yoruba we say Orojo, sorry if you don't speak Yoruba, but there's no beating around the bush that you want to do that they won't catch you. They know it, they've been practicing it, they've been doing it for nothing less than 10 years. So the
Hmm.
first
Hmm.
person that interviewed me actually was the one in charge of our power generation. And he asked me some questions on electricity, basic physics questions and generating power questions in physics, and I was able to answer some of them. Why I could not answer some of them. Then the second person happens to be the technical manager for the whole of FMN. Yeah, the technical manager also did questioned me, and he asked a particular question that I will never forget. And he said that, okay, what is the boiling point of milk? And I'm like,
Milk,
yes. And I'm like,
like
who?
cowbell milk.
Yes, cow milk. And I'm like, who boils milk? I was like, are you for real right now? Milk? I just told him, I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
can't even, like, there's no need thinking that, because I don't know. And he was like, okay. He told me the answer. I said it's about, I think the figure he gave me there was, I think, 105 or thereabout, because of the viscosity of milk is more viscous than just water. So to boil it,
Mm-hmm.
water boils at 100 degrees. So to boil milk, it will need a
Yeah.
higher degree. And he now asked me another question that I'm just remembering this now. That if you are to boil it under vacuum, what would be the temperature that you boil if you are to boil milk under vacuum? And I'm like, that would be the first time I'm hearing sort like boiling under vacuum. I've never had anything like that, that you're boiling under vacuum before. So in the real sense of things, when you boil under vacuum, you boil at a lower temperature. So if you
Mm.
want to boil water under vacuum, instead of boiling at 100 degrees, I think water will boil under vacuum around 50, 60 degrees Celsius, thereabout, if you want to
Mm.
boil water under vacuum. So he said that if you want to boil milk under vacuum, it will be about 65 to 70 degrees Celsius if you want to boil milk under vacuum. Like, wow. Thank you, sir. I just smiled, but in the whole interview, both the first interview and the second interview, it was quite engaging and interactive. I make sure that I wasn't too tensed to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the secrets to interview, regardless of whoever is standing before you or the panel you are facing.
Mm-hmm.
Just maintain your cool. The worst that can happen is that this one does not know what he's doing and move on. But don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. Yes, it can be a bit tense, but relax. And even the panel will help you. They will tell you that relax. This is just an interview, nothing more, nothing
Mm-hmm.
less. So just relax and be yourself. So that was how my first and second interview.
Thank you very much. I think it's quite a lot of things to learn. Either you apply to flower mills or not. One of the things I tell my people when we speak, or they have to go for interviews tomorrow or something, you see, you're going there to meet someone who has flesh and blood like you. Albeit, the person is much more experienced, but it's flesh and blood. They can't really do anything. It's a conversation you want to go and have. Go there, have the conversation, leave the place. It's not do or die. If they give you, you're very proud of yourself. If they don't give you, you move on to the next thing. That's why there are many opportunities, right? You never run out of opportunities, to be fair. So don't take it like if they don't give me, which breeds desperation. So you
Wow.
just want to be confident, and again, as you can see, it's not do or die if you don't know a particular answer. You are not expected to know everything. In fact, the way firms see graduate trainees are people who don't know nothing, like nada, nada. So don't think you know anything, especially when you get into the firm. Everybody don't expect so much from you because they feel you're just coming, you're still. So don't. There's not.
Fresh
You're
blood.
not proving so much. Fresh blood, exactly. You're not proving so much. So don't just relax. Take the expectations off your head. Do what you're there to do. Once you know that you've been preparing, you'll definitely be fine. Do you want to tell us the period you waited after the second level interview and then the final offer?
So, okay, after the second level interview, I think I waited, which I think early April, yeah, which was in May. The second level interview was in early May, either first week or second week in May. Then the offer letter was sent. No, not offer letter. A congratulating message to the next stage was sent, which
Okay.
was not the
Okay.
medical stage. So when all of both majority of us that qualified for the that passed the second level interview were sent a link to take to go for our medicals. I think that one came in the month of ending of May or early June, if I'm not too wrong. Yeah, that should be either May ending or early June. So let's give or take 4 weeks interval, give or take 4 weeks interval.
Mm.
The link was sent to us to go for our medicals. So the way they do the medicals is they work with health management of organizations, which we call HMOs. All right. So One beautiful thing about the FMA graduate training experience that I had during my own time was everything was done online. There was no need for me to travel
Hmm.
from where I was down to Lagos to do interview or to do test or to do medicals. Everything was online. Wherever you are, you will be, they will get to you and do whatever you want to do. So for the medicals, they have HMOs. In as much as an HMO is in that state, they work with those HMOs. So that HMO will be the one to direct you to an hospital where they make use of and do your test there free of charge. You do your test there,
Yeah,
they collect your results and send the result back to the company. So your own is just to leave your house, go to the HMO center or HMO hospital closer to you or closest to you and have your test done there, then come back home. So after the medical test was done, the offer letters came in around June ending. Yeah. So the space between the medicals and the offer letter was just about give or take 2 weeks thereabouts. So some said 1 week when they saw their own offer. Some said 2 weeks, but let's just say give or take maximum 2 weeks. All right. So then we got the offer letter to resume in Lagos on the 7th of July. So this was a journey that started in January. Now we are resuming in.
exactly. That's
So
about
that so you just have to be patient. Don't rush yourself. If they get back to you, congratulations. And if they don't get back to you, fire on and look for other opportunities, just as you said earlier on. So that was how it was for me. So the space between the second interview and the offer letter was give or take 1 month, but in between that 1 month, we have the medicals done, which was about 2 weeks between the second level interview and the medicals. So
okay. Just two questions, and then we are done with this. And thank you very much, Emmanuel. In your experience, right, with all of the other folks, so because I know you must have joined a group at the time or something, do you think that flour mills will always get back to you if you are not advancing to the next stage?
okay.
It's
Based on
okay
like
that you don't
okay,
know
okay,
about that.
when I was on the
Yeah.
group, because we had a group that all of us were sharing informations and all like that. And if you have one like that, please join and pay attention. It's very, very important because there are some details or some information that will be shared there that you might not have access to if you're not part of such a group. So on that group, those of us that advanced through the third level, the three tests that they got to us for the interview, some of them said they got mail. For those of us that were going to go for the interview, we got a mail. But for those of that didn't qualify, they didn't get any mail. So I guess what they did back then is if
Oh.
you qualify, we just move on, right? That was what.
Oh.
If you don't hear back after 2 weeks or thereabout, you might reach out to them. They welcome that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you reach out and they will now tell you, okay, sorry, you did not qualify for this and but I think for the general, the first stage, I think they do send out a mail, a general mail for those that did not meet up with the, after submitting the application
Okay.
that, okay, sorry, you did not qualify for this. You did not qualify to move to the next stage of the recruitment process. So I think that's what they do. Yeah.
Okay, because it's one of those things that folks are usually very concerned about, to say that they just ghosted me. So if they know that flour mills will probably not send them a rejection mail after the first interview, it's just okay that when you've done the first interview and then you've seen that others have received, just it's just okay to just move on and be aggressive with other opportunities that are available at the time. And this leads us to like the final question, right? There are people that are going to watch this, right? And they want to get into flour mills. Some people really want to work with flour mills ahead of any other firm in the country, right? So, what are you going to what are you going to say to them as they apply?
All right. So before I answer this question, let me just say this in addition to what you've said. Um,
Okay.
if you're applying for graduate trainee roles and they did not get back to you, don't wait for you to get a response. All right. Like I said earlier, apply as many as possible. See, you might even get the one you are applying for, and while still about to start the journey with that organization, get another offer from another company. And when you weigh it, you'll be like, okay, this one is better, and then you move. That's just, I'm not saying you should not be loyal or you should not be passionate and expectant, but if something like that happens, just don't be fixated on one particular one. That's just the truth
Yeah.
about it. You won't at the
Yeah.
end of the day be really, really be disappointed that after putting all my energy into this one thing, it did not work out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
spread
Yeah.
your tentacles. Just spread your net
That's
as you can. All right. So now to the question of many people looking to work in FMN. All right. This is what I will say about FMN. FMN is a good place to start a career, especially in the FMCG. Because when we look at it, in Nigeria, FMN is one of the leading FMCG organization in Nigeria currently. And
yeah, yeah,
right now, with the plan of becoming a Pan-African organization, so there are a lot of opportunities. And FMA already has that name for themselves, such that wherever you get to in the FMCG, within the FMCG, you are respected because they know that if it's the knowledge, you are going to get it. If it's the experience, you are going to get it in FMN. So it's a
hmm,
training ground. It's a room. It gives you a lot of room to grow and improve yourself, especially the graduate training. If you are coming in through the graduate training window or pathway, you have a lot of things to learn, a lot of experience to gain. So take for myself, and there were some theoretical things I did back in school that I did not understand the concept in practicality. However, when I got to FMA, I saw this thing play out vividly before my eyes. I'm like, oh, so this is what they were explaining to me back then in school. Because I did one of the courses I did back in school as an agricultural engineering student was food processing. And when I got into this place and I saw how they do it and all those heat exchange we did back in school, it's very applicable. I saw it live and direct, right? So it's a training ground. You will learn a lot, and I would just advise you put in your best. If you really, really want to put in your best, put in your strong foot, structure your CV very well. So let me talk about my CV, how I did my CV. So for my CV, I used the normal Word document format for my CV where you have your name, objective, and all those kind of things. So the major content of my CV were my education, my schooling. I only put my university school there. I didn't put my secondary school, primary school, all those kind of things.
definitely,
Don't
definitely.
don't, don't make your let your CV or your resume be a one glance through something that people can glance through at once and get the details they want to get. Then also if you have some certifications, I had the certification back then from Jobberman, which I included in it, and I think that actually gave me an edge as well. So if you have certifications relevant to the organization you are applying to, please add it to your CV. Then back in school,
Hmm.
carried out some projects. I was opportune to be part of a leadership team which organized a program back in school. I put it that under it as my leadership experience. My team work in school, working together with people on project, I put it there as team player. My projects that I did back in school as an engineering student were in my year two, year three, my experience and my final year projects. I put everything together, compiled everything together as my work experience, right? So
Hmm.
those were what I used for my experience in my CV. So I put all them all together in my CV, and that was all about my CV as at then. But now it has changed. Definitely, I've added some other things to it.
Definitely.
But as
Sure.
at then, also what I put into it. So what mostly organizations are looking for that passion to learn, passion to improve yourself, passion not just to sit down in a place and be like, when the job comes, I'm going to know. But keep improving yourself. Any certification you have, anywhere you need, you see the opportunity to showcase yourself, contribute to the society, please do and add it to your CV. It will really, really go a long way for you. Because it can be the determining factor that will single you out of a large pool of applicants. So about that.
Okay. To be honest, I don't think I have many things to add again. I'd just always say that it's always a numbers game. Apply to as much as you can. And if you're applying to flower mills, I say that you watch this again and again. Remembered when I was applying in my own time too, the videos I could find, I probably watched them. And I'm not exaggerating, more than 10 times the ones I could find. And I'm not even joking. So watch again and again and again. And yeah, try to put your best foot forward. And you never know what will come from something you're committed to. So till we see again on the graduate training series where I get to interview folks who have gotten into different firm in the country. Yeah. Till we see again.